Hello everyone. In the previous classes we did started about tenses and we did present tense. In this class we will study about the past tense. Okay, so let us understand. The past tense tells us about an action that took place before the moment of speaking. Like whatever we are speaking right now, the action that has already taken place will be considered in past tense. The action or event that occurred in past. It has four forms like present, simple past, past continuous, past perfect, and past perfect continuous. So in past tense we have these four types which we will do now one by one. First one is simple past tense. Let us understand the structure of simple past tense first. In affirmative sentences, in simple past tense, we use subject plus second form of the verb plus object. Like for example, I went to play. Here I is the subject, went is the second form of the verb which is go, and then object is to play. So the sentence becomes I went to play. Now in case of negative sentences, after the subject we will add did not or didn't. Didn't is the short form, and after that verb's first form, not the second one. Here if we have used did not, we will use verb's first form and then object. Like he did not go to play. Now he is the subject here. After he, we will use did not for negative and then object go to play, and we will use the first form of the verb, that is go, not the second one in like in affirmative. In affirmative we will use second form, but in negative and interrogative we will use first form of the verb, that is go. He did not go to play. Now in case of interrogative sentences, this did will come in the beginning of the sentence followed by the subject, first form of the verb and object. So it will become did he go to play or did they go to play. This did will come in the beginning of the sentence and at the end we will have a question mark. So the sentence will become did they go to play. Now let's understand where to use simple past tense. First, it is used to describe an action that happened in the past, something that took place in the past and is over now. Like, he came here yesterday. Something that was done yesterday or any time in the past will take simple past form. He came here yesterday. Next, to describe a habitual or repeated action in the past, something that was done on a regular basis in the past, like Suman always carried a pet dog. Now this was some habitual work which was done by Suman but in the past. So we will use simple past tense here. Suman always carried a pet dog. Then we can also use it to denote an action that continued for some time in the past, but it was taking place in the past only. I lived in Delhi for 2 years. For 2 years, sometime in the past, I used to live in Delhi. So this will also take simple past form. I lived in Delhi for 2 years. So this was simple past tense. Now let us move on to past continuous tense. First, let us see the structure of past continuous tense. As it says, continuous means something which was in continuity, something which was in progress. And for work in progress, we use ing with the first form of the verb. So here also we will use that. See the structure. First subject, then was or were. Now was is used with singular subjects and were is used with plural subjects. After that, verb's first form plus ing and then object. See the example. He was going to office. He is the subject. It is singular, so we will use was plus go, first form of the verb, plus ing will become going, and then object to office. He was going to office. In case of negative, we will add not with this was and were. and rest will remain same. Subject plus was were plus not, then first form ing and object. Like he was not going to office. So not will be added with was. Now if it is a plural subject, it will become they were not going to office. So not will be added after was or were. In interrogative sentences, this was or were will come in the beginning of the sentence, and at the end we will have a question mark. So it will become like, was he going to office or were they going to office, depending upon singular or plural. If it is single, was he going? If it is plural, were they going? And at the end, a question mark. So this was the structure. Now let us see where to use past continuous tense. It is used to show an action in progress, as continuous means in progress, but it was in progress at some point in the past. It was in progress in past. Like they were playing in the morning. They were playing. The work was in progress in the morning, in the past, not right now. So here we will use past continuous tense. Then to show the continuity of two or more actions at the same time in the past. Two or more actions were taking place at the same time in the past. Then also we use past continuous tense, like she was dancing while Rakesh was singing. So two actions were taking place at the same time in the past. Then it can be used to describe a continuing action in the past as the other action took place. When one action took place, the second one was in progress. Like for example, I was digging in the garden when he came to my house. When he came. When one action took place, second was in progress. I was digging. This digging work was in progress. So it will take past continuous form. I was digging in the garden when he came to my house. So this was past continuous tense. Now let us move further to the past perfect tense. First, let us see the structure of past perfect tense. In case of affirmative sentences, in past perfect, we use had plus verbs third form. In the beginning, we will have subject, then had, then third form of the verb, and then object. Like he had gone to play. Had is used in past perfect. Had plus third form. Had gone. In case of negative, this had will be followed by not. Had not. He had not gone to play. In interrogative, this had will come in the beginning of the sentence, and at the end we will have a question mark. So the sentence will become, had they gone to play. Now here we have to see whether the subject is singular or plural. The helping verb will be only had. He had gone to play or they had gone to play. Singular or plural, both the subjects will take only had. Okay, now let us understand where to use past perfect tense. It is used to describe an action completed before a definite point in the past. We are talking about some time in the past, but this action was already over before that time. Like at 2 o'clock, he had sold all his eatables. Means we are talking about a past time at 2 o'clock. Before this time, the work was already over. He had sold all his eatables by the time by 2 o'clock. Next one, to describe action in the past before another action in the past began. One more action of the past is given, and before that action, this action was completed. Like the bell had rung before we entered the school. Now we entered the school is also a past time, that we are talking about some past, but this action of ringing the bell was already over before we entered. So the sentence will become, the bell had rung, means the bell had already rung when we entered the school. Next one is in the conditional clauses to describe something which did not really happen. Sometimes we talk about some situations that if this had happened, I would have had done this. So in that case also we use past perfect tense. Like if he had studied hard, he would have passed. We talk about some situation which actually did not happen, but if it had happened, this would have been the result. So in that case also we use past perfect tense. Like if he had studied hard, he would have passed. Now these were the uses. Now let us move on to the next tense, past perfect continuous tense. Let us see the structure first. In affirmative cases, here again see, if you see the name past perfect continuous, so something is in continuity. So again it will be first form plus ing. So here we have subject plus had, been, then verbs first form ing, and here we use the words since and for to show the time expressions. Like for example, he had been playing since morning. Now he is the subject followed by had been, then first form plus ing, playing, and then we will use some time expressions using since and for. Like he had been playing since morning. In case of negative, had plus not then been. So it will be subject plus had plus not plus been, then first form ing and since and for. He had not been working for an hour. So in negative cases we will add not after had. He had not been working. In case of interrogative, this had will come in the beginning of the sentence. At the end we will have a question mark. Had plus subject plus been plus first form ing and then since or for. Had they been working for an hour? Had in the beginning, after that subject they, then been, first form ing, working, and then for or since for the time expression, and question mark at the end. Now let us see where to use past perfect continuous tense. It is used to describe an action that began before a certain moment in the past and continued up to that moment or stopped just before it. We talk about an action that started before a certain point in the past and continued at that time or just stopped before it. Like when I met her, she had already been studying French for the last 2 years. Now this is she had already been studying. This is past perfect continuous tense. Where to use? When some action in the past is given and this action was over before it only. When I met her, this is a past action, but before that only this next action was over. She had already been studying French. And here in this case we use for and or since to show the time expressions. For is used to show the period or duration of the time, like for an hour, for 2 years, for 10 years. Here it does not show the beginning of the time. When did the work start? It's not shown, but we show for how long the work took place. The work took place for an hour, for 2 years, for 10 years, etc. Since is used to show the beginning. When did the work begin? Like since morning, since 2020, since Monday, etc. Like he had been playing since morning, or we had been living here since 2020. So it shows that we started living in 2020, or it can be since Monday also. So since is used to show the beginning of the time. For is used to show the duration or period of the verb. So this was past perfect continuous tense. So these were the tenses that we did today. Let us revise. We did past tense today, Past tense tells us about the action that took place before the moment of speaking. Right now, if I am speaking, this work was already over. Something that took place in the past. It has four forms: simple past, past continuous, past perfect, and past perfect continuous. I hope all these forms are clear to you. In the next class, we will do about the future tense. Thank you.